Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our weekly guided reflection sessions where we're going to take about 40 to 50 minutes out of our day to just think more about our life by posing simple questions about ourselves and experiences. And by doing this, the result will be that we'll just be a better higher level human being, and we'll be able to help ourselves in our own life as well as others, kind of like a ripple effect. And we'll start like we do every session, 5 minutes of breathing. Very simple. We're just going to breathe in and out, starting now. And if you have thoughts that come up, just let them pass. Let them pass. They're not important right now. What's important right now is just being here and breathing in and out. That is all. Try to sit up straight. If you're in a chair or something that allows you to, sitting is better. And we're just breathing in and out. All right. How was that? Difficult? Easy? Refreshing? Challenging? You know? Now let's take whatever you're choosing to participate with. I do a journal notebook. If you're listening, you could just be conscious and answer them aloud or to yourself. Wow, I really got lost in that that breathing. Oh, now we're back. Let's start off by asking the question we typically do. What are we grateful for? Man, I had such a great recording setup earlier outside on the farm. It's beautiful. It's so gorgeous today. But it's a little too windy. So here I am in the office recording. We'll go there at a separate time. Oh man, I went over there. I took the gator over there. It's like a souped up kind of golf cart that we use on the farm. Went down the road. Wind. Set it all up. Yeah, a little too windy. We've done a few outside that are a little windy. I just love being outside, you know? Try to push our boundaries, our limits. Speaking of limits, what's something you push the limits of in your life? And this is intentionally broad, so take it in whatever direction you want to go. But what are limits and boundaries that you push in your life intentionally? for this third question, I'll share an example where I'm at. So I'm letting my lease expire in Chicago. I'm designing a studio on the farm. So the lease ends July 1st. I'm recording this in mid-June. And I'm sort of battling living life as is, but then also moving is on my mind. And I just don't, I'm like, eh. But we all know if we've moved before how much space that can take on the mind. Isn't it crazy? And I'm refusing to let it occupy so much on my mind. Luckily, I don't have too many things. And before the end of last year, I eliminated maybe 25% of my possessions. But I want to do it like in trips. I don't want to do it all at once or directly at the end of the month. So I sort of drifted off now thinking of this upcoming week, what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with books. I feel like my books, now I have 7 totes full of books that I've moved already at the end of last year. And I probably have another 6 totes. Books are the hardest thing to move. Physical books. They weigh a lot. Anyways, the question is, what's something that is occupying a lot of space on your mind right now? You know, it could be moving. It could be school. It could be a relationship. It could be work, a project at work, you know, like something kind of abnormal or infrequent that's taking up a lot of space, a lot of bandwidth, right, for our processing. How are we going about it, right? One, are we mentally healthy in regards to it? Like, we don't want to feel overwhelmed or stressed or burdened. So that's one thing. Two is like, how are we strategizing to go about it? You know? Next question, piggybacking off of that, when was the last time you had a major life change, life transition, whether it's moving, it could be a relationship, could be a new job, it could be like going to a different school, like there are a number of different things, but what's something big? What's a big life change you've experienced? The last one. And how did we handle it? Could we have done it better? Was it stressful on us? How could we make it less stressful next time with that situation? How did we go about it? How did we resolve it if there were any problems? Or why did it go smoothly? There's also kind of an aspect of acceptance with it. It's like it's almost like a built-in or like forced acceptance, that our life has shifted in a major way. You can embrace it and make it the best you can with change and accepting it. Or you could, dig your heels in and be reluctant. And with that mindset, though, it's going to cause more stress. So it's important in life to maintain an optimistic mindset or frame of mind, because that is going to paint every experience moving forward with whatever you're doing or working on. View things as opportunities to write a new chapter of life, a new compelling chapter of life, or an opportunity to explore other things. I'm planting a garden this weekend. I'm excited for that. I'm energized for that. Red potatoes, red onions, green beans, red peppers, green peppers, red onions. I think that'll be something enjoyable to explore. This year I've really been into being in nature, learning from nature, healing from nature, and embracing it. So the garden that'll be a interesting experiment. So what's something you're doing now or upcoming you're viewing as an experiment? Something you haven't done before, but you're energized to learn from it, to experience it, just being open to it, right? It's not about, for a garden, for it to be the most fruitful garden possible and better than everybody else's garden. No. It's like just being open to the experience and absorbing all the aspects of it, tinkering with things and just growing. So what's something that's a bit of a experiment for you right now or in the upcoming future that you're energized for? And if you don't have something, what is a possible something in that regard, right? Yeah, garden. I don't know. I don't think in my life I've um, had imagined myself getting this excited about a garden before. Carrots. See, I like tasting the dirt on the carrots. Very earthly. Carrots are always great when I'm on the tractor. I can just, have this big carrot stick, just chomp on it while I'm just cruising in the fields. Other things are really hard to eat or make a mess. Carrots aren't. They're just, they already got dirt on it. So if you drop it, just pick it up, eat it again. What are your favorite vegetables? That's our sixth question. I saw these cranes last night. These birds, cranes. It's interesting how big of a shadow they make when they fly. Found that interesting. I was in the backyard for like 3 hours last night. Just watched the sunset and it was like in the 80s. Oh man. Time flies outside in the nice weather. You don't need anything, especially if you're just like in nature, surrounded by plants and animals. It's just like, yeah. Yeah, I was doing some reading. I'm experimenting with a new reading system. For me, when I read, I extract things to use. That's why I read. I don't necessarily read to lose myself or like de-stress. I don't read too much fiction, I guess is what I'm saying. So when I'm reading, the book I choose is quite intentional. And from reading, I'll be able to pull something, what I call like a puzzle piece. So if life is this big puzzle, with experiences, with studying, with all bunch of different things in life, right? I'm trying to find puzzle pieces and put the puzzle together before I die. It's a large puzzle. Anyways, books are a great way to get puzzle pieces, almost like automatic puzzle pieces. So what I've been doing is taking biographies and just reading the prologues for the most part, or a chapter or two that really stand out to me. So this one I read today, Jane Goodall. And so my hypothesis is that, one, from knowing myself, I learn a lot from people, right? So I thought, I'm just going to go through my books. Like I said, I went through 3 totes of biographies. All right. So I have, like I said, 7 totes already here that I'm moving. And I went through 3 of them and pulled out the biographies. So now I'm reading the prologues of all these biographies. This one's not a biography. Okay, so Jane Goodall. So the question I want you to think about right now is, how do you go about reading and learning from the reading? Or why do you read? If you don't read, what's something you're curious about that you would like to learn more about? You know, do you learn more from people? Do you learn more from stories of the imagination, fiction? Or do you just read information? So think about that. Yeah. Yesterday I read The Collector of Lives. So this is about Giorgio Vasari. I guess he's like the godfather of art history. So he wrote this book called like The Lives of Sculptors, Architects, Painters back in like the 16th century. So what we think of is very influenced by his writing. Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael. So I read this one. So this one's kind of like how he was also kind of a Renaissance man. And one of the things he did was put together experiences, stories, interviews of all these Italian artists during the Renaissance. Right now I'm working on the beginning of Theodore Rex. It's a Teddy Roosevelt biography. So here are the other ones we have. John D. Rockefeller, Titan. We have an Elon Musk one here. We have Becoming on Michelle Obama. We have Muhammad Ali, His Life and Times. I have a second Muhammad Ali one. Art Lover, a biography of Peggy Guggenheim. Actually, I got these in New York. Yeah. I used to, when I would go to New York, I'd hit up thrift stores and I'd come back with like 13 books. And then I stopped doing that because I have a lot of books and they were so heavy when I'm bringing them back. You know, look at this. I'm afraid to slam it, you know, on the... Yeah. And it's like, is it really worth it for me to have my suitcase so heavy coming back? But there's also kind of a weight to getting a book somewhere. It just has a little bit more meaning or significance. I use New York as kind of like milestones of life. It's a very inspiring, ambitious place. So I always like to kind of check in with where I'm at in my life every time I go to New York. And so I find myself often prioritizing reading books that I've gotten in New York. I'm actually quite eager to take a bite out of Art Lover, Peggy Guggenheim. The Jane Goodall one, she's a storyteller, resourceful. I feel like her big thing is like seeing the light in animals. You know, like she mentions this chimpanzee, and his eyes asked, "Can you help me?" And she really noted that, and she answered like, "Yes, I can." There's like a deeper connection we have within us and our connection to nature and the world. And she's patient, listens, and tells stories. I think that's what I've gotten from it. Again, that's like 4 pages. So I'm thinking, if I go through these, I'll be able to pull without having to read a lot. That's my hypothesis. For me, I don't read to like say that I read. You know what I mean? Like, I read to learn and apply. And so reading from cover to cover just doesn't compel me much. I'm energized by learning bits and pieces and applying to life. Not really having a whole list of books I read. And my thought And we'll do this for the next question. What subjects are we curious about? So this could be people, it could be things, but that's where to start, is our curiosity. Don't go by these lists that are like 100 books you should read before you die, 50 books to inspire starting a business. Like, follow your curiosity. That's where to start. Start with your curiosity, and then just keep going. And then once you start reading a book you're curious about, it will give you like 10 other things to be curious about. So it's more of an adventure and a game that is catered to you and your interests and your life and what fulfills you and your purpose. That's the way to go about it. So what are some things you're curious about? People you're curious about, topics, places, cultures, it's endless. Next, I want you to think about a characteristic you have. Something you feel is unique about you. Right? So we're thinking, what is a characteristic we possess that's unique? Unique compared to friends, family, community, world. Like, what's a characteristic that we possess that is unique? We'll finish up here with the last question. What are we energized for this upcoming week? What's something we're looking forward to, we're giving our attention to, and when it comes, we're going to be present, active, and just experience it, right? So what's something we're energized for coming up this week? I'm really energized this upcoming week. For a number of things. I find myself just like having a mental tug of war between moving and just being outside and enjoying life, the weather, friends. It's summer in Chicago and it's just the most amazing temptation to just live life, enjoy life. But I gotta strategize moving. Yeah, what's something you're energized for this upcoming week? And with that, thank you so much for being here. This has been another weekly guided reflection session. I hope it brought value to you. I hope it gave you some time to think about your life, think about who you are and what things are coming up and how you can prepare and just, so you can just be just on the money, when you're doing things and taking action. And again, it leads to helping everyone. The more each of us take time out of our lives and just elevate ourselves, the better we all are. So I want to thank you for taking this time. Be well.